What is this play? Darren Orlovsky tweeted this and I had to go back and make sure it is real. It is real, unfortunately. Look at Matt Feiler. He is the pulling offensive lineman. This is your worst offensive lineman. Don't have him pull. And then you have Trey Pipkins, the right tackle. Your worst tackle. Don't have him seal the edge. But it gets even better because you have Gerald Everett right here and he's in motion, cuts back so he can be the lead blocker for Sony Michel, who is your worst running back. What is this play design? Is this play designed to get 1 yard? Because look at that. If so, it worked. Hey, you can make a trade, but you can't fix that. Whether you like it or not, Brandon Staley is the head coach of this team. And this past offseason, he was given the keys to this roster. He went out and he got his guys. Khalil Mack, Bryce Callahan, Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, Gerald Everett. So we know that he has complete say over this roster as of right now. So a trade would have to go through his approval. And there are a lot of players that are going to be made available soon. But if the Chargers are to make a trade, it's got to be for a veteran player on a lower salary or a younger player that's got good potential on a rookie contract. DJ Moore is not possible because he is a star player on his second contract already, and you're paying Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both over $20 million each. And then you're going to add all that money on top of that. You're going to have 3 receivers that are getting $20 million a year. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about some trades that are actually plausible. I got a list full of players right here. While I pull up that list, if you go ahead and like and subscribe to the LAFB Network YouTube channel. And hey, by the way, we have our own LAFB Chargers only content YouTube channel, because if you're here for only Chargers content, you might as well go over there because that's where it's all going to exist anyway. Chase Claypool is a third-year receiver who's very physical and can also make you miss after the catch. He's still on his rookie contract for cheap, and this is a high upside guy that you can throw a deep ball to as well as a slant with full confidence that he will make the catch securely. He was great in his rookie year with 62 catches, 873 yards, and 9 tutties, but the next season he only had 2 touchdowns, and this season he's on pace for his worst statistical season of his career. I think that's because of the emergence of George Pickens in that offense, and then obviously you got the Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky effect. And to prove that, his catch percentage on targets is 63.6%. This is an easy yes for me. If you can get him for even a 3rd round pick is the highest that I would go for him. If you can get him for a 3rd, I'm all game, baby. The next option is Kendrick Bourne. He's a 6th-year receiver, and although he has never cracked 1,000 yards in a season, he's been a reliable receiver his whole career. He's 27 years old. He played 4 years with the 49ers and 2 with the Patriots with a career catch percentage of 67.2%. And in the last 2 years, his catch percentage is 78.6, so he's been even better recently. He had his best year last year for the Patriots with 800 yards and 5 tutties, but he has been slowly phased out of the Patriots game plan for whatever reason. Hey, don't question Bill Belichick, okay? I won't. But overall, he's a reliable veteran and a good run after the catch receiver on a $3.5 million salary. I think if you can get him for a 4th round pick maximum, that's what I would go for. I would approve of that. Even though I feel like you could get him for like a 6th or even a 7th round pick, but oh my God, we need help. Marquez Callaway. He's another 3rd-year receiver. He's got great size and speed combination to be a threat to the 3rd level of every NFL defense. He's got great jump ball skills, but oftentimes he's going to disappear in some of these games. Last year, he had 46 catches, 698 yards, and 6 touchdowns. The problem is, he's just an inconsistent route runner, and he has poor yards after catch ability, but he was an undrafted free agent out of Tennessee. He's on a really low contract. He's making under $1 million a year, and he's going to be a restricted free agent this offseason. The Saints are going to want to try to get, something out of him. So maybe a 6th or even a 7th round pick could get Marquez Callaway on your team. I don't think it's worth it to go for him because that's a skill set that you don't really need in this offense right now. You already have Mike Williams. You need someone else like this next guy that I'm going to be talking about. But let me know what you guys think of Marquez Callaway. Would you do that? This one is my favorite. Elijah Moore. He's a 2nd-year wide receiver on the Jets right now. He doesn't only have straight line speed, but he also has the short area quickness to make you look silly. trying to tackle him. He has improved his route running ability and plays bigger than he actually is. Size is a concern though, and he's been inconsistent over the middle because he does anticipate getting hit. And you also do have to question where his maturity level is, because he did request a trade from the Jets, and we don't know the full story, but whenever a player requests a trade publicly, it doesn't look good for either side. In my opinion, I don't think it's an issue, and I would absolutely give up a 3rd round pick for this man. And just to give you some perspective, if you think that's a lot, we drafted Trey McKitty, Josh Palmer, JT Woods, and Trey Pipkins in our last 4 3rd round picks. Elijah Moore is the perfect player for this offense. He is exactly what they are missing. He would take some of that yards after catch ability away from Austin Ekeler. Take the pressure off of him, man. He's the only guy who can get yards once he has the ball in his hands. And I wanted the Chargers to draft him so bad 2 years ago. They didn't do it, but you know what? It's better late than never. You send that 3rd round pick for him. I mean, what do you guys think? I think, yeah. What about Jerry Hughes? He could be available, and Tom Telesco does have a connection there. He was in the draft room when he was drafted in Indianapolis. He's a veteran edge rusher that could come in, give some immediate value after Chris Rumph has gone down and is expected to miss some time. So now you got Joey Bosa and Chris Rumph missing significant time. I mean, I think it's possible the Chargers do look to add another edge player since they're down to just Kyle Van Noy and Khalil Mack. If one of those guys goes down, then you got crickets. You got crickets back there. Jerry Hughes right now is on a 2-year, $10 million contract with the Texans, but this guy is 34 years old. I would give up maximum a 6th round pick. I wouldn't give up too much for him because he is so old. Kadarius Toney, he's a 2nd-year wide receiver for the Giants. He's had a disappointing first season in the NFL, and then in this season, he's barely even played. Part of that is due to injury, but despite that, he's got really good short area quickness, and he displayed enough in college that I would be comfortable giving up a 4th round pick for him. I mean, you could even argue a 3rd round pick based on how terrible the Chargers have been drafting in the 3rd round, so you kind of want to burn that pick anyway so that they save themselves from themselves. But this guy was drafted in the 1st round just 2 years ago. Kadarius Toney is another one of those guys. He's got that straight line speed, but he's not limited to just that. He's good at running routes, and he's got that short area quickness. He can get good yards after the catch. This is a guy that I would want on my team. This is one of those guys that you go out and get, and then you make up plays for them. You can't just have him on your team and then not utilize him correctly. I don't think the Giants have utilized him correctly. He did have some issues with dropped passes in his first year, and that's the reason why I have him below Elijah Moore and who I would want on my team. I would still give up a 4th round pick for him though, just because I think if you have him in the right system and you use him correctly, that he could be just as good as Elijah Moore. I've seen this one a lot. Brandin Cooks. He's a 9-year NFL veteran on the Texans right now. He's fast, he's reliable, and he has the savviness of an NFL veteran in his route running. He is small, but he's as tough as they come, and you'd be able to get him for probably about a 6th round pick. The only problem is that contract. He signed a 2-year, almost $40 million contract with the Texans, and it's manageable for the Chargers, but I think this would hurt the team more in the future cap-wise than it would to help the team this year. So this is going to be a no for me, dog. Now, there are a lot of Broncos players that are on the trade block. Bradley Chubb is probably the biggest one. There was a tweet that came out and said if the Broncos lose, then Bradley Chubb is definitely not going to be on the team. It's kind of similar to that Von Miller situation from a few years ago. Jerry Jeudy also is possibly going to be made available. And then KJ Hamler is another guy. And all 3 of these guys I would have said yes immediately to, but the problem is the Broncos are not going to trade them to anyone in the AFC West. They're not going to do any interdivisional trade, so don't get your hopes up about these guys, and that really sucks, man, because every single one of those guys would fit so well for this team. I mean, a guy like Jerry Jeudy, really great at running routes. You could put him in the slot, and then when Keenan Allen is fully healthy, you could have Keenan Allen and Jerry Jeudy. That is a route running clinic. So those are a couple of the guys that the Chargers could trade for. Let me know what you guys think. Would you trade for any of those guys? And then what would you give up? What is the most that you would give up, because you know the other team is going to want to try to get the most out of the Chargers. So if there's anyone that I missed, let me know. My name is Michael McLean with the LAFB Network. Make sure to like and subscribe to not only the LAFB Network channel, but the Chargers-specific LAFB channel. We got it all over there. And I'll see you guys next time.